And how you guys doing, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to Hot Topics, sponsored by the Charger Bulletin at the University of New Haven. I'm the film editor. I'm Scott. And if you've noticed, I'm all alone today, with the exception of my cameraman who's helping me right behind you. Dylan couldn't be here today. He had some stuff he had to do. We also have another writer who just joined the staff, and she, unfortunately, I really don't know where she is, to be honest. But no worries, the show must go on. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Ender's Game. We're going to be doing a lot of pre-gaming for Catching Fire today. And so yeah, let's start pre-gaming in 3, 2, 1, go. Is this chair still squeaking?
No.
Okay. So yeah, as always, we're going to start off with our reviews. We have one for Ender's Game because we finally got a staff member to get around to seeing that. Unfortunately, that person who saw it is not here. Luckily, I have the article that she wrote about it. So she really liked it. She said the special effects were pretty impressive and fantastic, which I've been hearing. I do know a lot of critics have had some problems with it. She said those problems are essentially nothing, and she's okay to pass it. So we recommend it as a Charger Bulletin that you go and see Ender's Game. Yeah, that's pretty much the only review we have. Dylan has one for a movie that no one saw, so I'll let him take care of that next week. So next week should be a lot better as far as reviews go. But yeah, as I said, it's college, and we are pre-gaming for Catching Fire. Of course, I can't talk about Catching Fire unless I talk about the first one. I'm actually going to go see this one Friday night, which is the day it comes out, I believe. So yeah, the first one. I enjoyed a lot. I think that's the best I could say about it. It didn't completely blow my mind completely. I remember the anticipation level for this was absolutely through the roof. I mean, people were saying, I think I remember someone telling me, someone who read the books, mind you, I never did. She did tell me this is anticipated to be one of the best movies ever, like beyond Harry Potter, beyond the Avengers, beyond any of that stuff. So my first reaction is, Twilight with a bow and arrow? No. Well, that's before I ever saw it. And so once again, the anticipation for this was like nuts, and already I was kind of starting to question that. I'm like, that's I don't think be quite that good. I'm going into it with an open mind. And what do you know? I wound up seeing it 3 times actually because I enjoyed it. I was not blown out of the water by it. And for the most part, no one was. Everyone liked it. They accepted it. It happened. It's good. Can't wait for a second one. That's the best way I could sum that up. So yeah, my expectations for Catching Fire are a little bit higher, especially since I've been told that in the books the story does get a lot juicier. However, ironically, Catching Fire tends to be the majority's least favorite of the 3 books. So I'm really interested to see how that plays out, because it looks really cool. The trailers look great. Once again, we're just flooded with pictures of just Katniss just standing there with a bow and arrow, but oh well. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped for this. Yeah, you know, Steve, how do you feel for Catching Fire? Just to give myself someone else.
I would first like to say, good pun with the pre-gaming thing, Hunger Games. I see what you did there. Mm-hmm. No, but I'm really excited for this film. There's going to be a lot more characters added on. I'm especially excited to see what Philip Seymour Hoffman brings to the game. I hear he's playing a pretty good character. I love seeing Donald Sutherland on screen all the time, so that's always a treat.
Yeah, and one thing that surprised me is that movie was a lot slower than I was expecting it to. The way it was being described, it's very, the way it was described is very deep, and it's like total non-stop, just going to hit you over and over and over. It was, it's kind of slow, if that makes any sense. I don't want to say the plot wasn't going. It takes a while to get going, and it's not like, we're not talking like you're watching Terminator, and someone's getting shot every 30 seconds. So that was something that actually kind of surprised me about that.
Something that could attribute to that, maybe they were trying to keep it as close to the books as possible, so they're trying to fit in as many details as possible, but in doing that, they slowed down the movie. I mean, there's some scenes where Katniss is just sitting in a tree. I mean, you get the emotional aspect, but you're right, it does drag in some parts.
Yeah, it does, though, but Well, one thing specifically, you said you did not read the books, I think?
I did not read.
When I did hear there was something involving Katniss and Peeta, there's a little bit more of that romance than what they actually showed in the movie. If you know what we're talking about, please let me know what exactly I'm talking about, because I don't. Go to the comment section below and tell me about that, because I know there's something that should have been explored more from what I knew. Well, once again, I was cool with it. I was okay with it. You get the point. It was an enjoyable movie. Once again, if I went back and saw it like 2 or 3 times, that's not a bad thing. That's definitely not a bad thing. You really get the feeling like there's one thing that they are doing well with this marketing is they are making it look a lot more intense, and they're making it look a lot more threatening, as opposed to the first one. And I think that's necessary because so think of like the Lord of the Rings. There was like Fellowship, awesome. Two Towers, awesomer. Then you got what was the last one? Return of the King, which was my favorite one. How did I not remember the title of that? Return of the King, which was like incredible. I mean, didn't it get like 11 Oscars or nominated for 11 Oscars? So. The sequel, just notice trends of movies in general. It tends to be the first one, the second one, the third one. And you could go through a couple franchises where that happened. I think the biggest offender to that was Spider-Man and X-Men.
Yep.
Spider-Man 2, arguably one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. I would put up that argument. I love Spider-Man. X-Men 2, the same thing. You can put that in that category also. X-Men 3, how many people were pissed off at that one? Spider-Man 3, I have my opinions about Spider-Man 3. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying it's not as bad as what people say it is. That's all I'm going to say with that.
It sucked.
That's a discussion for a completely other time. Yeah. That really is. But I'm going to say, like, look at that trend. Transformers, you could argue, got worse as it went. Like, yeah, anyway, so you see that trend. Is you see, like, the first one, the second one, and the third one.
The only one I can think that doesn't go by that is the Toy Story franchise. I mean, I won't say the third one was the best.
A lot of people do say that. The third one is definitely the most powerful.
Yes. But it definitely did not get worse.
It definitely didn't. But I'm saying I'm just going by the natural trend.
Right.
Once again, not everyone's going to follow that. It's just a very common trend that you see.
Right.
But yeah, if you did not cry at the end of Toy Story, you have no soul. You don't. So that makes it very interesting to what they're going to do with this one. It looks like it's going to be more intense. Well, once again, I'm not completely jumping up and down like this is going to be my most anticipated movie of the year, because it's definitely not. My most anticipated this year was Iron Man 3. That was my most anticipated. And did little some expectations? Yes and no. But yeah, well, let's just talk about some movies that we are looking forward to, that are left in the year. We have no superhero movies left. It could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you're looking at that. There's Wolf of Wall Street. I don't have a list up right next to me. I probably should, though, of movies that are coming out. Actually, you know what? Let me take the time to do that.
Wolf of Wall Street is, that's the one with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yes.
Yeah, that one's supposed to be very good.
Yeah, it's actually what they refer to as an Oscar bait film. Here's the problem with that, though. Give me one sec.
Leonardo DiCaprio's never won an Oscar?
This could be, and I honestly hope it is. I forget what the plot is about this. I completely forgot.
I'm guessing it involves money.
Well, of course, Wall Street. Movies coming out in 20. Yeah, the movie was supposed to be 3 hours long, but then I think it's Warner Brothers who's making it. They cut it. They're like, no, it only has to be like 2. I don't know why, but for some reason they thought that this movie would have been too slow, I think, or a little bit too. They thought 3 hours was too long, so they cut it down, which was obviously a problem because this is supposed to be once again like an Oscar contender film. How much can you cut down to that, and how much is there? Now, we could be entirely wrong with that. It could be too long. We don't know until we actually see it. It's just something that's once again that's been something that I've seen talked about quite a bit online, especially with a couple critics. Steve, does that worry you at all? The fact that they have to take off like an hour?
I'm wondering how good the film really is if they're able to do that.
That's essentially the question.
Starts with a 3-hour movie, end with a 2-hour movie. You're taking out basically a third of the movie. Like
that's
how many?
lot.
How
that's
many?
A lot.
How many non-essential scenes or not as important scenes were in that movie?
I know. That's what I'm thinking. It's like that's a lot. We're not talking like take off 5-10 minutes. More movies that are coming out. I finally got the list up. Excuse me for having to zone out for 2 seconds. Catch a Fire comes out this week. Frozen, Disney's Frozen. Looks good. It's Disney, so I can't say no. Actually, I can.
I'm getting a kind of a Tangled vibe from that. So
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. I was just about to say.
Tangled meets Santa Claus 3. That could be very good or very bad.
Well, I like Tangled, so I'll buy it. I like Tangled.
Yeah, I definitely like Tangled. Yeah.
So I'll buy it. Once again, I'm not expecting it to blow anyone's minds or anything like that. Old Boy, that's not really something I'm interested in, but a lot of people are. This is the big one. The 2 big ones that are 3. I'm sorry. I'm going to start with the least of those most anticipated 3 for me. Anchorman 2. Oh my God.
Ron Burgundy. Oh, fun fact. The Emerson College is naming for one day their school of communications after Ron Burgundy. No
serious?
joke.
Are you serious?
I'm completely serious.
Oh my God. Next time we're bringing you sitting next to me. We didn't know he was going to talk this much. I asked if he wanted to. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. I was kind of hanging back here.
I'm unshaven. I'm not fit for the camera.
I can't wait for that. Everything about this looks absolutely hilarious. The first one, like one of the best comedies like ever. Like I absolutely love it.
And there's so many more cameos coming up in this one.
Yeah, Brick gets a girlfriend. It looks like.
Yup. Or whatever you want to call it.
I'm calling it right now. That's going to be the funniest running gag of the entire movie. And I wonder what the song is going to be. Last time was Afternoon Delay. I wonder what this one's going to be.
That's a really good question.
Oh my God, I can't wait. Number 2. For most anticipated for the rest of the year. Another Disney sort of thing, Saving Mr. Banks.
Yes.
Oh my God. Tom Hanks is playing Walt Disney.
Genius.
You had me at Tom Hanks. I love absolutely everything Tom Hanks is in. Probably my favorite thing, we actually published an article for UNH News a couple weeks ago. Dylan did it about his favorite Tom Hanks movies. My favorite was actually not in it. Toy Story.
Ah, yeah.
In case you forgot, he's Woody from Toy Story. That guy, Tom Hanks, can do absolutely no wrong. A critic who I listen to and follow pretty closely online, he said he already saw Saving Mr. Banks. He's not going to give too much away, but he said, oh yeah, it's absolutely delightful. It's exactly what you thought it was. So I'm really excited for that.
It also stars Emma Thompson, who's absolutely great, and Paul Giamatti.
The Rhino.
Yes.
Well, actually, believe it or not, I have the lineup right in front of me. I'll get back to that in a little bit. The whole Spider-Man thing. Definitely looking forward to that, because who doesn't love a little Walt Disney?
And this is the first time he's being portrayed in film.
Exactly.
When it wasn't himself.
We've never seen Walt Disney, like someone be Walt Disney before.
Exactly.
And that's why I wonder how with their strategy is. Look at Disney and what they're doing right now. And I completely forgot this one's coming out. Is it this year? Or next year, Maleficent is coming out?
That's next year with Angelina Jolie, yeah.
Yeah, okay, now I'll get to that a little bit later, because we actually do have a little bit of news on that. It's kind of interesting. We're seeing Disney take these different turns that we usually see them take. Even though they still have the anime stuff coming out, that tends to not be the emphasis anymore. They're taking the princess movies and they're kind of reversing them, like with Maleficent. That could be really interesting. Well, once again, I'll get to that one in a little bit. Let's say Mr. Banks, it's about how they made their classic movies. Now, this can tell us a few things. One, they're out of ideas, so they're actually making movies about how they made the movies, because they're out of ideas, or they really think it's a good story. Now, I do know Mary Poppins, how that movie came to be. That is like an odyssey for him. I do know he promised his daughters he will make this a movie for them because his daughters love the book or something like that. Yeah, it's a very, from what I know, there was a big struggle for that. Once again, because it's Disney, you can almost say it was like a bloody war, even though obviously nothing ever happened. Because it's Disney, I wonder how much of that they're going to cut down on.
Or keep truthful?
Keep truthful, or how much... We see in the trailer, he's having... Walt Disney or Tom Hanks is having discussions with the author, whoever the heck her name is.
Emma Thompson.
Yeah, I'm trying to think I don't know what the actual character's name is.
P.L. Travers?
that.
Yeah.
We see him having the discussion, and she's like really not buying into it. I do know in real life that there was kind of there was some bad blood going on with that, and that's why I'm wondering how much of that is Disney going to keep true? Because do you think Disney will ever, as good as it may be, will ever make themselves look like the bad guys in any way?
That is a wonderful question.
Because Disney like essentially owns the world. Think about that. Do you think they would actually do that? And that's a risk that I'm afraid that they may not be willing to take, but I think that could make... Once again, I heard the movie was fantastic. I haven't seen it myself, though. And that's just something that I'm constantly thinking about, is how much of that are they going to portray because of that? Like, even when they do Maleficent, that... Once again, it's Disney. How much are they going to have to cut off of that? Because think about it. If I was going to make a movie about Maleficent, I would make it kind of violent, kind of gory, kind of evil. How far do we want to see? Do you think Disney's willing to go for that? Think about that, because Maleficent is like one of the most iconic villains in all of Disney. It's like, how far do you think they would go?
Like, are they going to keep it more canon, or do you think they're going to make it a bit of a Wicked thing?
I don't know. I don't know in the sense that we know it's kind of supposed to be like a Wicked kind of sort of thing. For those of you who don't know, Wicked is a play about how the Wicked Witch of the West became the Wicked Witch of the West. And people say it's fantastic. Broadway's not my thing. But
it's my thing. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's from what I heard it is. So, when you say is it going to be canon, like, will it actually correspond with the movie Sleeping Beauty?
Completely.
That's a good question. I actually don't know the answer to that. I don't. I'm going to, because it's still Disney's version, I'm going to say yes. I'm not going to say it's going to be like, I don't think it'll be like Oz, where Oz is Oz even like a trademark? Because MGM did the Wizard of Oz, I think. I think it was MGM. Yeah, because they got the lion.
I know that the original book, The Wizard of Oz, by
the book is nice.
Or whatever.
Some dude who
but he wrote like so many sequels to that.
Yeah, there's a lot
that were even like more far out than that, or.
But then I'm talking about like the actual movie rights, because it's like The Wizard of Oz, the movie was by MGM. Disney made Oz. Someone else did a play of it. That's what I'm saying. Like, because those are different brands portraying that. That's why they don't entirely correspond. But that's why I think Maleficent will, because it still is Disney's telling.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's why I think about that. But still, I think that may or may not be. We could be shocked. This could be gory. This could be evil. This could be creepy. We don't know that yet. This could be like one of those things that make you watch it. You get like chills up and down your spine. I hope it is, because I don't want to see like a la-di-da foo-foo of something that first of all looks evil. Have you seen a trailer for that?
Yep.
Oh my god, that is quite terrifying. Like, what's that line Angelina Jolie says? It's no, Sleeping Beauty. Wait, was that Sleeping Beauty?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's Princess Aurora.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yeah.
She's like It's like, why don't you come out? Are you scared? She's like, no, if I come out, you will be scared, or something like that. That was actually kind of creepy. So I'm looking forward to that, definitely.
Oh, wait, something I didn't even think about. Disney basically owns Marvel films. They made the Avengers, and that was definitely not a fluff fest.
But it wasn't exactly Dark Knight either. Here's the thing, Disney makes a lot more things that you don't know they don't put their name on. Did you know that Disney made the Da Vinci Code?
What? Next one's what Tom Hanks is in.
Oh wait, Tom Hanks again. We're going to do that. Make that a running gag. Whenever Tom Hanks comes up on anything, we're
Tom Hanks.
Disney does a lot of things that they don't put their name on because of reasons like, as we're talking about, like once again the Da Vinci Code. What was the other one? The second one, the Da Vinci
Angels
Code.
and Demons.
Angels and Demons. Yeah, Disney did that. They didn't put their name on it because they knew once they attached their name, first of all, it's going to create controversy because it's a religious thing and Disney talking about that. But once again, if there's money to be made, Disney's gonna put the money into it. Like the Avengers, Disney really does not put their name on it. If you watch it, Disney does not really put their name on the Avengers. They do with a lot of cartoons.
That is true.
But they don't really put their names on a lot of it. Like Disney owns Disney owns ESPN. They own the world.
ABC. Desperate Housewives.
Desperate. There you go. Disney does Desperate Housewives. It's just everybody, let's just take a moment and think about that. Disney does make stuff.
I feel if I do, I will be charged with mental crimes. So,
but so that's how we feel about Maleficent. I'm sorry we got sidetracked for films out later in the year. I think the biggest one that I'm looking forward to for the rest of the year, no doubt, The Hobbit: Desolation of Smaug.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! Once again, I got to talk about the first one. My opinion level is similar to Hunger's Game in the sense that it was expected to be the best thing ever, and it was very good, and not the best thing ever. Not to say I didn't like it. The only thing that stops me from watching it again is that it's kind of a long movie. It's definitely a movie that you need to be mentally prepared for it to watch, if you know what I'm talking about. Like, there's certain movies like Spider-Man. You just throw that out there. You can just throw that on and have a good time anytime you want. Things like The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, you almost need to be mentally prepared. And you will be exhausted after watching it. And Desolation of Smaug, not Desolation of Smaug, the first Hobbit definitely was that. But regardless, I really enjoyed it. This one looks really good. Benedict Cumberbatch is doing the dragon. I did not know the dragon talked. And I read the book.
Now you know.
Now I know. It's the first time I heard Benedict Cumberbatch is doing the voice. The first thing that came to my mind is they really need Benedict Cumberbatch to do like or something like that. Like, can't you get like anyone to do that? But I didn't know he actually talked. Which then keeps my question was, what's the third one going to be about?
Huh.
I know the third one's being called There and Back Again. So is it literally about the way back? That's kind of boring. Just me. I think the book just stops at when they defeat Smaug. What does the dragon want to do with gold anyway?
I don't know.
What does he want to do with it? Just think about that. Or it is a kid's book.
Why did the dragon in Shrek want to make babies with Donkey?
That kind of did happen.
Things we'll never know.
But yeah, definitely feeling excited for that one. Looking forward to that. Once again, I'm looking at the list of movies the rest of the year. It's probably the one I'm most excited for. And it's deserving of that. How good do I think it'll be? I'm expecting it to be better than the first one. I'm expecting to enjoy it more than I enjoyed like Superman and Iron Man and stuff like that, because I really think this movie has that much potential. Once again, it's not my most anticipated of the year. Flashing back to January. But for the rest of the year, yeah, it definitely is. Some other notable ones that are coming out. American Hustle looks pretty good. Jennifer Lawrence is in that one. Hunger Games again. 47 Ronin. Keanu Reeves. I don't know what I think about Keanu. He's just kind of half a punchline, half really awesome. He's the coolest punchline ever. Probably the best way I could put it. At first I heard he was doing a samurai film, like, that's cool, and they had like magic and stuff going on. I'm like, this is probably going to be turn your brain off, have a good time, so I'm looking forward to it. That comes out actually on Christmas. Wolf of Wall Street, as we talked about before. Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Do you know what that is, Stephen?
I have no idea what that is.
Secret Life of Walter Mitty is a passion project done by Ben Stiller. I think it was based off a novel. It's basically about this guy who's like the most boring guy in the world, and he kind of like daydreams a lot. So eventually he decides he's going to do something and explore stuff. Some people are discussing this could be like an Oscar-worthy film because it is coming out in the Oscar season. It's definitely more of an artsy film, which is why I more than likely will not go see it. That's definitely more of a Dylan kind of movie, so I can guarantee you Dylan's going to see that, and he'll tell you all about that. But that's not really my thing. I'm sure it'll be good, but once again, that's not my thing. Jack Ryan, I could care less. And Serena, no idea what that is. So, yeah, that's pretty much the rest of the year. Any ones that you think I left out, Steve?
I think you covered them all.
Yeah, so we're good with that, then. That's pretty much the meat and potatoes for this episode. I have like a few other things I'm just going to throw at you really quick. just because they're worth the mention, but not really much to talk about. The Nightwing stuck from last weekend. Adam Driver was just doing an interview. The guy was supposed to be playing Nightwing, and they asked if he was doing that. He was like, nope, that didn't happen. So all of you people who are upset with that, like me, you can take a deep breath. And at least Adam Driver's not doing it. Doesn't mean that idea is not happening yet. Because nothing's official until you hear from the studio. That's the best way I look at it. So that's over and done with. Wolverine, maybe getting a sequel, because we just got off of his Wolverine movie, which was fantastic, by the way. I absolutely loved it. Until the end. The ending was a little, not a fan. But yeah, they were kind of hinting that Days of Future Past will be the last time we see Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, because he's getting older there, and it's a very physically demanding role. But he's like, let's do another one. So they're doing another one. Once again, that's not set in stone yet, but when the studio wants to do it, the actor wants to do it, and the director wants to do it, you're all systems go for that one. So looking forward to that one. Star Wars Episode 7, for all you Star Wars fans, we have a release date. Thank you. 2015. I don't have the exact date on me, but it's not Christmas, but I think like the week before Christmas, I believe. It's within a week of Christmas. I know that, so that's going to be huge. I absolutely cannot wait for that. That's probably like my third most anticipated movie of 2015, because 2015 is going to be the monster year. Experts actually predict that to be the biggest box office year in movie history. Well, let's just think, just off the top of my head. Just off the top of my head. We have Avengers 2, Batman vs. Superman, what I just said, Star Wars. Avatar, I believe, is still coming out that year. Amazing Spider-Man 4? 3?
3?
3? Because 2 is coming out next year. Actually, you know what, though? One second. We're going to look this up.
Is that when Finding Dory is also coming out?
Yeah, Finding Dory. That's the other one.
Ellen DeGeneres. Can't wait.
Movies in 2015. I'm going to bring up the list for you guys. All right? And for those of you who don't know much about this, I'm literally about to flood you with insanity. Because literally, no movie fan will have any money at the end of the year.
Nope.
Think about how many times you go for something twice. Okay. Starting in January, I'm going to be able to click Kitchen Sink. I know what that is. That looks hilarious. If you don't know what it is, you'll know then. Don't worry about that now. The Frankenstein, that thing that's going on. I'm just going to go on the big one. 50 Shades of Grey is coming out on Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Ooh, shocker.
SpongeBob SquarePants 2. And first of all, I'm not naming off every movie. I'm just naming off like the big franchise names. Believe me, it's going to get there. Cinderella. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Disney's doing the live-action Cinderella.
That's right.
So let's like that. Going back to what we were saying, like the live action of everything. Chappie. I forgot what that is, but I know it's a big thing people want to see. Madagascar again. Avengers: Age of Ultron. Tomorrowland. Monster Trucks. But I have no idea what that is. Jurassic World. Oh, that's why I kept forgetting. Jurassic World. So that's Jurassic Park 4. The Fantastic Four. Ted 2. Keep in mind, everything I said from Avengers to Ted is all coming out within 2 months. You can... okay, no, actually, no, you can't. Okay, Terminator 5. The Minions movie. Batman vs. Superman. Ant-Man. Assassin's Creed. Who cares about Smurfs? Bond 24. Peanuts. Oh my god, they're doing a Peanuts movie? Are they really? I did not know that. Oh my god. Okay, for those of you who don't know, I love cartoons, and the Peanuts are like one of my favorites. Mockingjay Part 2. Star Wars. Warcraft. World of Warcraft. Kung Fu Panda 3. And Mission Impossible 5. It's literally the year that every franchise is just going to throw up at the box office. Think about it. This is like, once again, that's not even every movie. That's just some of the major brand names. Avatar's not there. Avatar, I believe, got moved to 2016. It looks like now. That's just going to be insane. We'll talk about that another day. Get into more depth with that. That is absolutely insane. Let's think about that though. So yeah, that's essentially the rest of what we got. one last thing to talk about, just because it was just kind of interesting. Do you know who Terrence Howard is?
Yes.
He played Rhodey in Iron Man 1.
And not 2 or 3.
Exactly, because Don Cheadle played him. Okay, well, get a load of this, ladies and gentlemen. Did you ever wonder why he didn't?
I thought it was he was asking for too much money, and then Don Cheadle was like, I'll do it for less. That's what I thought.
Essentially, that's what we're told. Well, during an interview with Terrence Howard, he said, here's what really happened and why he really left Iron Man. This is a very heartbreaking story. The way he describes it is very bitterly and snotty the way he said it. He goes, a friend of mine who I helped get the part of Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., was asking for more money, and they took all the money from me and gave it all to him. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to leave. That's just a shortened version of what he said. You can look it up online to what he said. He's essentially claiming that Robert Downey Jr. asked for more money and said, just take it from him because we don't need him. You can replace him. Here's the good, the bad, and the ugly with that. The good is, here's the thing that once again, some people don't know this. Terrence Howard was getting paid, I think, almost double what Robert Downey Jr. was getting paid for Iron Man 1. Reason why, Robert Downey Jr. was essentially washed up, whatever, by the time Iron Man 1 came out. Terrence Howard was a pretty big name. Even though he was a supporting role, but still a large role. He's the bigger name. It's like Jonah Hill is taking the lead and Brad Pitt is going to be the supporting character. Once again, who do you think is going to get the most money, even though he's a supporting character? Obviously, it's never going to happen, but just hypothetical. So with that, eventually they realized, okay, well, we hit the jackpot with Robert Downey Jr. This is all his now. You're still like the side character, even though he was War Machine, and he does play a bigger part later. They're like, this is what I think makes the most sense out of what he's saying. Is they're like, okay, well, we had to give more money to Robert Downey Jr. because he is now the staple for this. He is the trademark. It's his movie. You aren't as important. So he got upset and left. That, what I just said, is what I can think is the logical thing that happened. I doubt that it went exactly like Terrence Howard said, and Robert Downey Jr. flat out said, oh, just take all the money from him and give it all to me because I'm selfish. Even though, here's the questionable part about that, is because all that drama that was going on to get him to sign on to do 2 more Avengers movies. He was asking for a whopping, good lord, $700 million. That's a lot of money. And he was, I don't want to say he was holding the fans hostage. I think this went on for a long time. People saying, will he return as Iron Man? Some people are like, okay, just cast someone else. Some people are like, just kill him off. I would happen to think if he did leave, they would just recast him. Because Iron Man is, you can't kill off Iron Man. He is your trademark. He is your big money maker. From a business perspective, it makes no sense to kill him off. Give him, just recast him. Or make Rhodey Iron Man. You have to keep Iron Man, essentially. But he did come back, and a lot of it had to do with a lot of other of the Avengers, like Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson. They were asking for more money, too, because that's a lot of money. Either way, and Robert Downey Jr. was already getting the biggest portion of that pie. But they were asking for more because Avengers was so huge. And Marvel Studios has been known to really hold on to their money. They're like, I'm not gonna say what I was about to say. I was gonna make a joke, but it's not funny. They are very known to hold on their money, not give it up. So naturally, they didn't want to give it to anyone else. But moral of the story, we got him back. They gave everyone more money. So that's why this story is scary, because it's believable. I don't think that's really what happened. I doubt that it was as simple or as cold-hearted as, we're just going to give him all the money and you take... there has to be more to that, so I'm not sure how much that I believe. That was just an interesting note I kind of read about. That was kind of a big thing. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. This is really pretty much all we got. Once again, I'm sorry there really wasn't too much reviews or news this week. I'm all by myself, and they saw the rest of the movie, so I'm sorry about that. Please feel free, if you like this, share us with your friends, comment below, subscribe, all that la-di-da food for all the fancy stuff that you're always told to do. So yeah, totally do it. You know, try to comment some questions and some stuff that you want to see us address on air that you may like us to talk about. Or address, because we love hearing from people, and we love having these discussions. That's why I ramble so much and I drag on with this, because I love having these discussions. So that's all I got for today. So yeah, we'll see you guys next week. I'm Scott. That's Steve. Take care, guys.